Today is Sunday, March 7th, 2021. We're in our third week of Lent. In Lent, we prepare. The color of Lent is purple. Purple is the color of a king, and we are preparing for our king. We are preparing for the mystery of Easter. Lent is a serious time. This Lent, we are preparing together by saying the Lord's Prayer. We will say it at the end of class today, but you may also go back to the clip that has just our friends saying the prayer together throughout the week. We also have a new faith word today, since it's a new month. Our faith word this month is remember, or to think about and not forget our faith. For this session, we will focus on remembering Jesus through ritual. Rituals are like fancy routines, and routines help us remember. When we remember Jesus and his teachings through rituals, we are showing love and devotion to Jesus and to one another. Let's discuss together, or you can think about the questions yourself. What does the word remember mean to you? What helps you remember things? Let's sing our new song called Remember Your Love. I really like this song. It's fun. And then we will do our Bible reading together.
Your voice is everywhere, in pictures and songs that hang in the air, to show us the way you love. And we sing along, and you're teaching us why you wash our feet. The greatest must become the least. 'Cause there's power in these things we do them to remember you, how we called out and you came through for
There are many, many rituals around Easter time. Specifically, the week leading up to Easter, called Holy Week. So for this month, we are focusing all month on Holy Week, and we will talk about different rituals that our community does, that churches do, that help us remember the mystery of Easter and the mystery of Lent. And all of these rituals help us lead up and build up for Easter. This week, we will talk about when Jesus washes the disciples' feet. So we are going to read from our Bible, from John chapter 13, verses 1 through 17. Foot washing. Before the festival of Passover, Jesus knew that his time had come to leave this world and go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them fully. Jesus and his disciples were sharing the evening meal. The devil had already provoked Judas, Simon, Iscariot's son, to betray Jesus. Jesus knew the Father had given everything into his hands and that he had come from God and was returning to God. So he got up from the table and took off his robes. Picking up a linen towel, he tied it around his waist. Then he poured water into a wash basin and began to wash the disciples' feet, drying them with the towel he was wearing. When Jesus came to Simon Peter, Peter said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus replied, "You don't understand what I'm doing now, but you will understand later." "No," Peter said, "you will never wash my feet." Jesus replied, "Unless I wash you, you won't have a place with me." Simon Peter said, "Lord, not only my feet, but also my hands and my head." Jesus responded, "Those who have bathed need only to be their feet washed because they are completely clean. You disciples are clean, but not every one of you." He knew who would betray him. That's why he said, "Not every one of you is clean." You and your joy will be complete. This is my commandment. Love each other just as I have loved you. No one has greater love than to give up one's life for one's friend. You are my friends if you do what I command you. I don't call you my servants any longer because servants don't know what their master is doing. Instead, I call you friends because everything I heard from my Father I had made known to you. You didn't choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you could go and produce fruits and so that your fruit could last. As a result, whatever you ask the Father in my name, he will grant you. I give you these commandments so that you can love each other. All right, let's roll our Wonder Cube a couple of times. I wonder, what is the best part of the story? I think the end for me is when he commands his people, his disciples, to love one another. You hear that over and over in the Bible, and it's always important to hear. I wonder, what would you change in the Bible story? I think if you follow along each week, you'll know what mine is. Mine is, I wish Jesus would give us a clear answer. I get frustrated. I want to know everything clearly. But Jesus doesn't give us all the answers. And I think part of that is frustrating, but part of it is also really exciting. And I wonder, if you close your eyes, how would you imagine the Bible story? Would you imagine being one of the disciples? How would you imagine it? All right, now let's hear what Abigail has to say.
Greetings, friends. I'm Abigail. In our Bible story today, Jesus washes all of his disciples' feet. Their feet were dirty from walking outside because everyone wore sandals. Peter, one of Jesus' disciples, thought this was too strange. He didn't want Jesus to do it at first. Even though washing feet wasn't Jesus' job, Jesus wanted to do this to show care and love. By reading this story, we remember how Jesus loved his disciples. To remember is to think about and not forget our faith. It is important for us to remember so that we follow the awesome example that Jesus lived. We get to be a part of the story by adding new ideas for how to serve and show love. When we think about what Jesus did in this story, we see what faith looks like. Faith looks like helping, serving, and loving. Sometimes doing these things surprises others, but that's not a reason to stop doing them. Last year, during lunch, I noticed there was a kid who was always eating alone. I always ate with my friends, and I wanted him to have friends too. One day, I decided to go and eat with the kid who was alone, and my friends didn't understand. My best friend said, "Why are you doing that?" After a few lunches, my friends wanted all of us to sit together. They realized we could all show love. My new friend now had a whole group of friends. I was able to show Jesus' love at school by making sure everyone had a friend. When we remember that Jesus washed feet, we remember to live with love and to live with faith. No matter who you are, you can follow Jesus' example. We can all love and serve in some way. We won't all wash feet, but we can all do something that shows someone that we care about them. Now it's time for you to wonder.
Thanks, Abigail. I wonder, what makes you feel close to God? And I wonder, how can you show love to others? Jesus knew things were about to get really hard for all of them, and that he was about to die. And so the last thing he did was have a dinner with everyone. Not only that, he washed their feet. That was usually a job for servants, but he wanted to do something really nice for them, as they were about to face some really hard times. Jesus wanted them to have a big meal together to remember that they were all connected through him, even when he was gone. That's why he gave them the commandments to remember him when they eat and drink, and to wash each other's feet. Jesus knew that even though he wouldn't be around forever, his followers could still be held together in his love. So, my thought for you is to take some time and wash your family's feet. Might be a little weird, but do it. You can do it with your brother or sister, your grown-up, and all you'll need are a pan of water, bowl, whatever, some soap, and towels. Wash your family's feet and then have them wash yours. This can be a serious ceremony or it can be dramatic play. Either way, you'll still remember it. So, you can see here, Nathan and Amelia are washing each other's feet. They had some serious moments. It was pretty cute, and they were also pretty silly sometimes too. But when you do it, take some time to note your feelings, because it can draw up some feelings. Did it make you feel a little weird, or did it feel silly? Was it funny to have someone wash your feet? What did it feel like to wash someone else's feet? What do you think it was like when Jesus washed the disciples' feet? Jesus was being really nice to them, wasn't he? He was showing them how to love and serve other people. Jesus showed us how to be a servant and how to love others by dying on the cross for us. He is God, but he is also a servant. What does it mean to be a servant, but also a leader like Jesus? To me, this is someone who creates positive change for all people, all for the glory of God. And one such servant leader, in sort of contemporary times, is Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa was born in 1910. She came from a comfortable family that were deeply religious, and they were very committed to helping those less fortunate. This would be the legacy that her family gave to her, as Mother Teresa became one of the most well-known and beloved religious members that were devoted to the poor. She made the decision to leave her family and become a nun at the young age of 18, with the desire to be a teacher. She was dedicated to teaching the girls of some of the poorest Bengali families, and it was here that Mother Teresa learned to speak both Hindi and Bengali. Her hopes as a teacher was to help eliminate the poverty of the girls through education. She continued to teach, and in 1944 she became the school principal, and she was loved by many for her kindness and devotion to education. It was in 1946 that Mother Teresa was called by God to work in the Calcutta slums, helping the sickest and poorest people of the city. God said to her, "I want to use you for my glory. Wilt thou refuse?" She went to the slums to help the unwanted, the unloved, and the uncared for. Mother Teresa set up an open-air school and then a home for the dying in a building that was donated to her. She continued to travel around the world, doing the same thing in different communities, serving others and creating change for all people and all for the glory of God. When she passed away in 1997, her missionaries of charity had over 4,000 members with thousands of volunteers and over 610 foundations that covered 123 countries in all of the 7 continents. Mother Teresa was truly a servant leader. And now, as we end today, we are going to say a repeat after me prayer, and then we are going to say the Lord's Prayer together. So repeat after me. Dear God, thank you for showing us how to love and serve others.
Let us pray.
Our Father who art in heaven,
Hallowed be thy name.
thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread.
And forgive us of our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory.
Forever and ever, amen.